PipSnipers here, back for another update. Very important price action that took place today on PulseX and the PulseChain ecosystem. We actually wick down towards the 78.6% fib. Okay, so if we take a fib from this very low over here up to this high, you guys can see that today is the day we finally came down towards the 786, and we perfectly wicked right down to it. You guys see that? Right down to the wick. Very nice daily close as well. A bullish hammer. And we were actually within a 7-day long range. This over here is your range highs, and this over here are your range lows. Okay. This over here would be considered your equal low sell side liquidity. Because remember, whenever you have an equal low or an equal high in the market, you likely have liquidity resting above it or below it. Okay, so this was our equal low sell side liquidity, and it was swept. And the usual trajectory after sweeping one end of the range would be to sweep the opposing end, and we did just that. So this over here would be considered your buy side liquidity, and it was swept. And we can see over here on the daily time frame, we had a closure above the top of your range. So we have bullish candlestick bias on the high time frame. And we not only swept the lows, but we swept it towards the 786. And this is the macro 786. We were actually just hovering above it for 7 days. You see how we were just hovering above it? And then today in New York AM session, we swept it and then retracted back into the range and then swept the opposing end. And like I say in my previous videos, the wick does the damage and the body tells the story. You see how we wick towards the 786, but then ended up retracting back into the range and then closing above the range lows. And then the next candle was a bullish engulfing, and the candle after that was a nice solid candle as well, with a daily close above the highs of the range. Okay, so very, very bullish market structure that we have here. Yesterday was the day we finally hit the 786. I mean, over here, we could have said, yeah, it hit the 786, but this was a full-on tap of that 786. And the good news is that we didn't have any closures below it, right? It was just a sweep with the wick. Taking a look up here at the daily time frame, nice bullish hammer that we have here, sweeping these daily lows, right? So we had a double bottom on the daily, and then we swept it. We can even take a look here on the weekly, right? This over here was our weekly low, and then we swept it with this weekly candle low as well. Okay, so very, very bullish market structure on the high time frame and on the small time frame. Okay, now what I would be expecting here is for us to have a little bit of a partial decline or a throwback to fill some inefficiency before we head on higher. Okay, now usually when you have a setup like this, it would come down towards the 23.6 to 38.2% fib, and we even have a possibility of wicking down towards the 50% fib, or in other words, the EQ. Okay, so this over here would be your fib supports. This over here would be considered your EQ, or your equilibrium. So I'd be expecting a move down towards any of these fibs before we continue on higher. It can come down to any of these fibs here. Worst case scenario, it comes down to the 61.8% fib or the 70.2% fib. Worst case scenario. Okay, come down to any of these fibs and then continue on higher from there. I do expect the rest of the week to be green, but tomorrow we may have that partial decline before we head on higher. Just making you aware of that. Okay, now taking a look here at the full historic chart, we not only hit the 786, but we formed 5 waves here, right? You have your three wave move down. You have your 3 wave move up. And then you have your 5 down right over here. Okay, so very bullish. This would be your A down, your B up, and then you have your C down. For your 335 Elliott wave flat pattern. Okay, just like this. Okay, and we also have the price oscillator printing bullish divergence. If we scale down to the 12-hour time frame, we have consecutive lower lows here, although we have an equal low on the price oscillator. Okay, and we actually have larger bullish divergence as well. Consecutive lower lows going back to April 2024, and consecutive higher highs on the price oscillator. Okay, very bullish structure. Okay, so it looks like the correction is finished. What I would be expecting from here is an attempt to rally back above this trend line. We would mainly want to see a push above the 78.6% fib and the 702. So if we get a 4-hour push and a 4-hour close above 4 zeros 1954 and 4 zeros 1899, then there's no doubt that this over here is the bottom. We already have a lot of confluence that this is the bottom, because remember, like I showed you, we swept this low, we swept this high, and then we had a daily closure above our range highs. Okay, and we also swept it towards the macro 786. Okay, so going forward, what bulls would want to see is a 4-hour push above this level over here at 4 zeros 1954. So we can confirm this in fact is our bottom. Okay, we can go ahead and take a look at the MACD. And you see how it's crossing up here on the 12-hour. And we also have bullish divergence too as well. Lower low, higher low. MACD turning up towards the histogram, or turning up towards the 0 line with the histogram in positive territory. Okay, we also have a little bit of a wedge going on over here at the lows. Just something to be mindful of, pay attention to. Very bullish structure. Okay, all the way down to the small time frame. Now we can go ahead and take a look at PLS here. So this is PLS. And we've bottomed as well. We wicked down to this zone that I was showing you guys. Right over here. Right? This is your 3 down. This is your 3 up. And then you have your 5 down with a bullish descending broadening wedge within the 5th wave. And we went ahead and wicked down below this low on August 2023. So I'd be expecting a nice push up from here. And if we get a 4-hour close above the 702.786 at 4 zeros 4535 and 4 zeros 4746, then that will confirm our bottom right over here. Okay. So I do think that we have bottomed in the PulseChain ecosystem. We can also take a look at HEX. Now this is pHEX. Okay. This is pHEX over here. And I also think we bottomed. Right? This is your broadening wedge. Three down. 3 up. And then you have a 5 down. Okay. It would look something like this. A, B, and C. And there you go. You also have an ending diagonal here, same as PulseChain or PLS. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that we have very bullish market structure. And don't be surprised if we have a little bit of a throwback before higher. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Peace out and take it easy. See you in the next one.